The Harvester is back. And if you're unfamiliar with this rifle, this is a Bushmaster A2. Now this ain't the M4 A2 because it's lacking the cuts in the barrel. I had sent this in, one, to test out their customer service, because I recommend this rifle to a lot of people. I need to be ensured that I am also recommending a rifle that's got good customer service. And yes, they were slow, but they paid for shipping there and back, which is incredibly rare for firearms manufacturers to do. So even though they did have slow turnover time, I'm still giving them a B+ rating for customer service. Because again, most firearms manufacturers, minimal, you have to pay shipping there. But typically you have to pay shipping there, they let you know when it's done, and then you pay shipping back. Now, I had set this in for, obviously, like I said, two different reasons. The second reason was I was having a point of impact shift. And it wasn't shooting 55 grain ammunition really well. Now, understand, I only tried one, my hand loads, and then two, I believe, was American Eagle. You'd have to go back to my old videos to verify the other brand I shot. So that isn't really a big sample size, but typically, if a manufacturer can put out an ammunition that shoots, I'm going to make up numbers here. Let's pretend they put out an ammunition that can shoot in a rifle 4 MOA. If I hand load it and I remove variables, I can typically cut that in half and get it down to like 2 MOA. So I just assumed that it didn't like 55 grain ammo. I sent it in to them. I was going to have them totally repair it, but then our state governor talked about mandatory AR-15 buyback, and then Bushmaster switched over to the 1.7 barrel. So I started bugging the crap out of them. I'm like, just inspect it, make sure the barrel's in spec, and I will handle any repairs. I was doing it that way. The reason I didn't diagnose anything myself is because I wanted to take it in the eyes of a customer. You buy the rifle, you plug in your magazine, and you shoot. But after the governor started talking, I was sweating. Because I still don't even know. I doubt he's going to get it to go through because we still have one out of the 3 forms of government. Now let's say the next election cycle, they also land it, so they have a hat trick. Then yeah, we're probably going to look at any semi-automatic ban in Wisconsin. But right now we're still kind of okay. So we'll see what happens. The second reason, obviously, the 1.7 twist barrel changeover. And that's because consumer request. That's what the consumer wants, and it doesn't matter if it's right or wrong. If the consumer wants it, that's what you give the consumer. That's a good business move. Unfortunately, it's a really bad move when it comes to rifle performance. They were using a 1.9 barrel, which on an extreme spread will stabilize good. I mean, you can still shoot other bullets, but good 60 to 80 grain. Realistically, with most rifle, or I should say 45 to 80 grain. Realistically, with most rifles, they're going to shoot best between 60 and 77 grain. These sights are calibrated for this very particular round. That's what the Marine Corps calibrated these for. That's what the dope is on the wheel. And so that's what I wanted. I do not want a 1.7 twist barrel on here. The 1.7 twist barrel, on an extreme spread, it will stabilize between 55 and 100 grain ammunition. Realistically, you're looking at 69 to 90 grain. 80 grain will not even fit inside this magazine. So why in the hell would I want a barrel twist that, one, your barrel's going to burn out sooner because of a more aggressive twist rate, it's more friction, your barrel life goes down. 2, all the ammunition it excels at stabilizing is about $1 a round. This is what? Anywhere between 23 cents and 30 cents a round? Now, in my last video, I have to make a correction. I was talking about the M193 tracer round. Unfortunately, that's bad information. It's this tracer round it cannot stabilize. This is where you need the 1.7 barrel twist. This round is as long as an 80 grain Sierra Match King, but it only weighs 62 grains. So when you're shooting a really long, really light projectile, you have to throw an aggressive spin on it. That particular projectile, because it's so long and light, it has the stabilization characteristics of this pen. I mean, you really, really have to spin this in order to make it fly straight. Otherwise, it's just going to topple. And that's why the military went to the 1-7, to stabilize that particular cartridge. Otherwise, they would be at a 1-9. It's the logical choice. So I got the rifle back. They didn't do any work on this. All they did was check the barrel specs, shoot a couple rounds through it, and try to figure out why I'm getting a point of impact shift and why I couldn't shoot 55 grain ammo. We have a bunch of different types of 55 grain ammo in the store now, so I'm going to try different manufacturers and see if the groups tighten up. It's very possible, but it doesn't really matter, because this is the only cartridge I care about. So after I started inspecting the rifle, I found my point of impact shift. This was an older one, so it does not have an F-mark front sight base, which means this sight is lower. So for my 0, the front sight's already sticking up out of the base. I'll just roll in a picture. More than I'd like to see. So I didn't add on MOA on the back because of that, and it already clicked down. Where I failed myself, it doesn't actually click. See, there's no click there, and then you go forward, you get an audible click. I didn't actually look at the sight. I was just like, oh cool, I don't have to adjust the sight and recalibrate it. It already goes down one, and I don't want to anyway because I'll probably have to change my front pin because this isn't an F-mark front gas block. Under closer inspection, it's not going into the click groove. What it's doing is it's bottoming out on this base. I'll roll in a little video right here, but when it bottoms out on that base, it pushes the sight over to the right and down. Probably by something like 4 MOA. Which explains my MOA shift, because I typically shoot within 300 meters, so I'm typically dialing down -1 MOA to hit those targets, point of aim, point of impact. And then if I'm at like 50 yards, then I don't need to dial down, I just go to the big peep. So as I'm transitioning between these different ranges, that's why I was having an MOA shift. Because I'd click down -1, it would drop my sight down and to the right. I'm actually pretty confused how I was actually even getting rounds on paper. I mean, 4 MOA, that's a huge shift. And at 300 yards, you got to go small peep down -1. So that means at 300 yards, I should have been somewhere in the foot of the target. And, well, that pretty much explains why my targets were peppered from top to bottom, left to right with shots. So, what we're going to do, now the right way to handle this would be to put on a match grade upper receiver or pin in this rear sight. And basically what it does is your rear sight will ride on 2 rails. So when you're adjusting it, it's always going straight up. There's no left and right movement. But I'm going to make this video series, so if you have an AR-15, you can follow along and maximize the accuracy. So we're not going to do that. 1 second, let me turn off the furnace. There, now that the furnace isn't screwing up my audio. What I was saying about the pins, you'd pin in your rear sight, and that'll prevent it from shifting. And we're not going to do that right now. We will do it in my Black 13 project, because I'll explain that project. So basically, my Black 13 project, hardened steel fails when you can move a projectile over, I believe, I'll have to Google the number, but it's like 3,300 feet per second, something like that.
Okay guys, here's another prime example of velocity is king when it comes to defeating steel.
Yeah, I think it's like right around 3,300. Like I said, I'll Google the number and I'll roll it in here. And obviously if you have a steel core, then you can punch through body armor. Well, my Black 13 project is going to be a rifle. Full length, 20-inch barrel. Now, because Bushmaster only does 1/7 twists now on all of their rifles, I have no desire to buy that rifle. Twist rate does not equal accuracy. Twist rate is how to maximize the performance. Accuracy comes from quality manufacturing, double lapping barrels, etc., etc., etc. So let's say you got a 1.7 barrel that shoots 1 MOA with 55 grain ammo. You throw a 77 grain ammo in there, it's going to shoot better. Let's say you have a 4 MOA 1.9 twist barrel that's shooting 45 grain or 55 grain ammo. Now you get into that window where it really likes the ammunition, it's going to shoot the 62 grain ammo the best. In this particular project, because I'm looking for maximum velocity, because this will be the rifle I use, say, for whatever reason I'm forced to hunt blue helmets, I want something that can actually have some sort of effect on hardened steel. So I'm going to be running 55 grain ammunition, because 55 grain ammunition comboed up with a 20-inch barrel breaks the velocity to be able to damage hardened steel. And I want to be able to maximize the performance with that particular cartridge. And since, like, no manufacturers offer A2 sights except for Bushmaster, but they went to a 1.7 twist barrel now, which isn't going to perform the best with 55 grain. I want to get something that will perform the best with 55 grain, so I want, like, a 110 or a 112 twist barrel. Plus, then I can run, like, a 45 and really scream those cartridges out there. But I'll probably wind up going with a 55 because I can buy that in bulk at the cheapest amount, so I can get the best at shooting the rifle. So if I have to use it. Anyway, since I'm going to have to do that one as a build, I'm not just buying the Bushmaster anymore because they dropped the ball on barrel twist. Then I will be going with a match grade upper receiver that will have the rear pinned in sight block. The A2 stock's a bit long for me, so I'll probably put on the A1. And since if I had to hunt blue helmets, they would have technology and spades, and the only thing I could use against them is tactics. That's why I'll be going with the iron sights, because if I were to try to go at night, obviously they'll have thermal and everything, and it just would be a downhill battle. The point is, so for this one, what we're going to do is we're going to adjust this rear sight, give myself -2. Probably going to have to replace the front pin. That will take care of my MOA shift. After I take care of the MOA shift, I'm still not quite happy with the accuracy this barrel provides, but since they assured me it is in fact in spec, I can change that. Your accuracy on an AR-15 typically comes from 2 different points. One where the barrel meets the receiver, 2 the inside of the barrel. So first things first, we're going to pull off this barrel nut and see how well the barrel extension fits into the receiver. If it's crazy slop, then we're going to replace the barrel extension. If it's not crazy slop, you know what, actually if it's crazy slop, I'll probably buy some shim stock and run a shim on the inside that'll snug that down. But if it's not crazy slop, you know, like there's just a little bit of slop, then we're going to use a hillbilly shim. Basically, I'm going to pull the barrel out, I'm going to clean everything off, I'm going to coat it in like green or blue Loctite, shove it back in, torque it down to the proper spec, let the Loctite set so it takes up any variance in there, and then I'll get no movement. Next would be the inside of the barrel. If I don't get the desired accuracy, my desired accuracy I need for this rifle is sub 2 MOA. 1.5, 2 MOA, I would be happy with this. If that doesn't do it, then what we're going to be doing is lapping the barrel. And that will typically take care of it. All you're doing is you're polishing the inside of the barrel, so as the bullet's going down there, it doesn't get any unusual drag, left, right, up, down, whatever. That can cause your bullet to want to veer off in a different direction. That should take care of it. This rifle should shoot sub 2 MOA. If that doesn't do it, then I'm going to wind up going with how do you even explain it? It's the same handguard, but it free floats the barrel. It doesn't touch up front here, it just holds in the back. I don't want to do that because the whole point of this is to be the lightest weapon system possible. And if I do that, I'm adding weight. But if I can't get below 2 MOA, then we will be doing that. So as this project progresses along, you'll get to see a whole bunch of, what would you even call it, like backyard mechanics. Some of the videos I may not be able to show on YouTube because they're pretty particular about actual construction. If that's the case, just go down in the description. I got a link to my gun streamer. Subscribe my gun streamer. It's a different platform where I upload videos. Subscribe to me on there. And you'll probably get some bonus content that unfortunately my YouTube viewers aren't going to get. If you'd like to check out any of my other videos, click on the links up here. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.